There's just some days where you feel like you're not getting anything, like there's no money for some time. even if that time is like just a week or two, there's no money coming in, you just feel like, is this what I should be doing with my life? Because I'm spending so much time in this. Maybe I should put this time
to something else. I remember in when was it, February or Jan, when we had the first meeting, then some days went by, then I got a call from Seb saying, I'm thinking of starting in 6 months. I was like, no, man. I was like, damn it. You can't do that.
Okay, just it's not the product that's valuable, but the things around it that make it valuable. You can have two people selling the same thing, the same shoe. What make it valuable isn't necessarily the quality of the product, even though that does count, but it's about how is that business set up. Okay, so in the last episode, what we focused on was about money and how do you set up money for yourself? How do you think about money, the mindset towards it? Now, what we're going to focus on in this episode is how do you set up a business? Because when you think about money, in a sense, when you think about going about money, the most quickest way for you to get money by yourself is going to be business. So that's what we're going into today. And how do we set up a business? How do you think about business? So right now, I think what we should start on is talk about let's start on what are the previous businesses that we've done and what lessons have we learned or why did they fail, and let's start there.
Yeah, nice to be back, Money Series, after so long, but yeah, I've been waiting for the call, guys, but eventually it happened. So when it comes to previous business, I think I've done a lot, and we've done a lot in the previous 2 years, even beyond 2 years. So I think we quite know what's happening in the business world. Not that much, since you learn every day, but yeah, we've been going through a lot. Personally, I started in high school. What was I doing in high school? Yo, funny enough, I've never told this story, but I used to sell sweets in high school there. You know those one pengo, those long ones. I used to sell them 1 rand each. I was making mine until the principal found out, but they didn't find out from me. So
because you couldn't.
Yeah, you can't sell in the school premises, but yeah, they found out from someone who was selling some other good. Then I was like, hey, let me stop, otherwise they'll find me too. So yeah, that's when I started. Then I went into business again, being let me not say, but a technician. I was working for CTM Electronics for some time. I learned a lot in that business because there was managing, there was time frame.
So that the audience knows, CTM Electronics is your father's business.
Yeah, CTM Electronics is my family's business. Yeah. So that's where I was working for I worked there less than a year, I think 8 months or something. Then I went for vacation. Yeah.
When was this?
This was like after high school, which was like 2022. Yeah. 2022. Then I worked for 8 months. I only said after my metric results, I only settled down, like just telling myself, actually, let me cool down after this hectic year. I just gave myself two months. Yeah. Then I started working at the CTM Electronics, where I was a technician, going out in the field, learning how things are done, learning how to communicate with customers. Guys, communicating with customers is important, and the customer is always right. Just know that the customer, even if they are wrong, the customer is always right. There are sometimes whereby the customer will give you a headache, but because they are the ones who are paying for the service, so you are not supposed to get angry or something. You have to console yourself and hold yourself and carry on, man. Then we go into 2023. That's when I was first year. I started selling components. I think I said this on Rundown podcast. I started selling components and also gadgets. I started by mouse, yeah.
to ensure you have total control over your gaming. Experience pinpoint accuracy by getting yourself the Jebsen's G001 gaming mouse for only $139.99. This mouse also has enhanced features like the 7-color LED lighting and a futuristic design. To order yours...
Mice. But mouse, yeah. I think I sold around... How many mouses? Around 5. I didn't make that much. I didn't make that much when it comes to mouses, yeah. I only sold around 5, but they even paid more than the components I was selling daily, so I couldn't complain. But I also ventured into selling electronics components. That's what I was doing in 2023. So I've kind of been in the business world. And 2024, which was last year, then I went into what was I doing in 2024? I was still selling components, no?
Yeah, there's components. Yeah, components, vending machine, and then YouTube.
No, okay, vending machine, you talk upon that. That was a serious field business. Yeah, things happen. But yeah, 2024, I think it's components as well. But I don't think I was that serious in any business.
I don't think so.
I don't remember. It was just components. Oh yeah, it was jumpers mainly.
Oh
yeah, it was jumpers, so it's mainly components. But I wasn't that serious in it. Then 2025, then something came up, but
still Pics.
We'll see on that. We'll talk upon that later. Something huge came up 2025. Actually, it started in 2024, ne?
2025, probably.
I mean, like the planning of was 2024.
We were thinking about it in December, but then we started properly in...
Yeah, we started properly, but yeah. That's that for me when it comes to business. When how many businesses or which kind of business have you done in the past years?
Okay, so for me, when I started it was a printing business, but I didn't really make anything there. Well, I just said I had a business, but I didn't have any customers for the printing. That was around 2020, 2021. It was printing. And then I think I was like 2 rand per page or 3 rand per page printing, and then color, I think like 5 rand and so on. I think that's why I started. Besides that, I've been trying to do the programming course, like selling a programming course. I've done some things there, gotten something there, but then...
So wait. Before 2023, were you doing anything else? It was just good work?
Not business-wise, but in 2021 was when I started with programming. So I started learning how to program, but then I was jumping. I never stuck to one thing. So I was learning programming on the side with playing soccer on top of schoolwork. So that's what I was mainly busy with. 2023 business-wise, I'd say I started with Sebworks. So, okay, with me, I haven't had a formal business
that you've been working on.
Yeah, it's just been here and there. You can consider them businesses, but it's not like a proper business.
Yeah.
But before that, I was reading business books, philosophy books, and also on YouTube as well. So that's been since 2018, roughly. So the knowledge I have is just that there isn't any concrete experience that I can say.
But you've been reading books about business, so in a way, you have a business mind.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've been in the business world, even though you haven't been that tapped into the business world.
I used to feel like I was in the business world before I started with this. Before I started with Still Pics. Right?
Yeah.
I used to know, let's see, how do you set up this, how do you set up it. I like to think that I know what to do with... I always knew what to do with a business from the middle. Let's say from making it better, or from the middle phase. Let's say you start a business and then go to the middle. Then from the middle, that's where I know.
Oh, when you know how to take off, not start.
Yeah, not start. That's what I realized with starting Still Pics, that starting has been my problem. But anything, once you started, the structure and everything, that I can easily figure out. So that's what I know. It's just that the starting part where...
The start.
Yeah, no, it's the starting part where now you're approaching people, how do you get momentum for the business? That's the thing that I haven't worked on.
Yeah, but you're working on right now, since now it's into you now.
Almost,
okay. So we have this 2025. You said 2024, what are you doing?
2024, I think it's just is the vending machine. But since 2023, it's been Sebworks, starting from the newsletter to the YouTube channel, and it's just been that. And then also, let's say, promoting it and things you learn. Even though it's not successful in promoting it, but like just even though you're not successful, you learn some things in order to be able to promote. What strategies are you gonna use? How do you promote and so on? Even if you don't do anything with that knowledge, you're still learning something, and then that then helps later on.
And what I've realized is that not all businesses are meant for success. If we can look at the vending machine business, it was a business which there was a proposal, there was PDF, everything was PDF, but the structure, there wasn't really a structure, there wasn't really per se where we can say, yeah, this is how you're going to tackle the things. Let's say the disadvantage of it. If this happens, this is what we can do. There wasn't really a plan. It was always a thing of like, if this doesn't work, okay, it has to work. Like, it doesn't have a choice. I remember when I used to say, yeah, we are going to get the place no matter what. Regardless, we ended up selling. So for context, guys, we started a vending machine business, but I wouldn't call it a business because it didn't even, because the business is something generates at least once, at least generate money once. But that one just took out money without the actual income. So there are some things that we learn in business, things like proper planning, because if we can look at something like a vending machine, since this is a money series, we also giving advice on what we've gone through. If we are looking into a business such as a vending machine business, you have to consider the things of like looking for the actual place for putting your vending machine before you actually buy it. Because as we did the opposite, we bought it, then we started looking for the place, then you couldn't find a place. So it's,
you know, the funny thing is, right? We went to buy the vending machine. I told my father I'm going to buy the vending machine. My father told me you should get the place first before you buy the vending machine. But I just wanted to buy the vending machine.
But you didn't tell us.
No, I wanted to buy the vending machine first.
Yeah.
And then
get the
negotiate something.
Or negotiate a place.
Yeah. Just that when we got the vending machine, then we weren't focused on it.
Yeah, I think it's also a thing of like,
because we weren't committed to it.
Yeah,
That's
commitment. Yeah, that's very compared to what we are doing.
Okay, so here's what happened for the viewers. Like we just started the vending machine because we wanted to start a vending machine. We just started the business.
Yeah, we just wanted something to generate income.
we didn't have any. There was no plan. There was no like structure or we're gonna do this and do that. So there were like when we started. Okay, so here's how it went, right? Just like with still Pics, we started early in the year. So early 2024, went out, bought the vending machine. This was like 5th January, we buying the vending machine. So we're buying the vending machine 5th January. We said we're gonna start out, but then by that time we're still focused on what are we going to do with rundown, and then what are we gonna do with schoolwork. So we just started the business for the sake of starting the business. So starting a business for the sake of just starting. Don't help. So if you're gonna start something, then you must know that it's something you want to do, and you're gonna have that you want to put in work for. And I think another thing I learned with doing Sebworks over the years, there are gonna be days that you're gonna hate. You're gonna feel like giving up. Okay, so everyone says that in like the business world that there are gonna be days where you feel like giving up. I felt it's not that much of a big deal as they make it out to be. There's just some days where you feel like you're not getting anything, like there's no money for some time. even if that time is like just a week or two, but just feel like there's no money for some time. You've been like working on like every day. So it's like there's no money coming in. You just feel like, is this what I should be doing with my life? Because I'm spending so much time in this. Maybe I should put this time
to something else.
And that's what I've learned. Like it's going to happen with everything that you. So with the newsletter, it was like that for me, and I just continued. Like the first time I did the newsletter, like the first time I got that feeling was the most difficult to like deal with.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It's not nothing's working. So that one was the first That was more impactful. And then YouTube happened. It's like, okay, then it's like second. I think it happened once again with like Still Pics, but Still Pics then was more. Still Pics was just maybe I should just like relax for some time. I think also relaxing is difficult as well.
Yeah.
Because you can't relax. It's
knowing that you have something that you have to do.
Even besides that, let's say you haven't been resting or you haven't been okay. Let's say you've been working from like you go to school, you come back, and then on our case, you go to school, you come back, and then you work on the business that you have, and then same thing. Even on campus, you're working on the business that you have. Now I did that for 2 weeks. For me, it's 2 weeks. Do that for 2 weeks. It's difficult to rest now because you're already in the mood to go.
You're in the cycle of coming back and doing business again.
So it's difficult to then. Today I'm just gonna relax. Now when you relax, you're like, what about this? What about that? What about? But another thing I realized is that you need to also calm your mind down and relax, because that's when you make your best ideas come from when you're relaxed and calmed down.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like balancing. Now it's like balancing. Do I push through this and get an answer, or do I relax? do I like relax and calm down and let my mind process and get an answer for it? Just like, do I work hard or do I work smart?
Yeah, that makes sense. Personally, I've learned that when I was working in 2022 at my dad's thingy. I've learned that in business you don't get money every day, especially if you own it. Like, it's tough. Like today, tomorrow, let's say you have 2 consecutive days, you're getting, let's say, 10K per day, 10K. Then the next 5 days you don't get it. Like, it's demotivating, but when it comes to business, you just have to stay strong, right? And hope for the best. It's all about risks, to be honest. It's all about hoping for the best, having faith, or eventually I'll get something. Yeah, I think that's how it is in business. You don't have to just say I started a business, then expect it to just flow, get income, elevate it. No, it's a graph. You go up, go down. Sometimes you might hit the floor. Like us, it's 2 consecutive weeks without making anything. Imagine, hit the floor on the ground straight. Then when you come back again. Now you make sure. Now the thing about business is, after having that low, now you want to make sure the next time I have it, let me take advantage of it. Let me make a lot, so that in my low days, at least I have something reserved. I think that's how it is, man. I think that's how it is. Then in 2025, right, on the aspect where you said your problem was starting the actual business, right? I remember in when was it, February, Jan, when we had the first meeting. Then some days went by. Then I got a call from Seb saying, I'm thinking of starting in 6 months. I was like, no, man. I was like, damn it. You can't do that. By that time, then, because from December, when we started saying, I think we need to start a business, man, I was like locked in the whole December until when we had. I was researching the whole 2 months. Then I get a call saying, I think of starting in 6 months. I was like, no. I saw the message. I think I took some time to reply. Saw the message. I left the phone. I was like, no. I sat down. Thought about it. Then I was like, went back to the message. Fitz, let's start this thing. Otherwise, I will never start. Then time went by. Then you send the message again saying, I think I will start in 6 months. I was like, you know what? I'll start alone. By me saying I'll start alone, was a good thing, because you ended up saying, okay, let's just start this thing. But I know starting is hard, but once we are into it, you get motivated. That's what I think. If you are already into it, Depends on the type of business, if you're passionate about it. Since us, we've been in the media industry for quite some time. So when it comes to cameras, everything, that's where our interest is. So I think it was easy because of that. But what's your take on now how we started? This
Okay, but like for me, it was my main concern was the capital more than anything. So it was like in June, I'd have the capital I'd have something. That's why it was like. So now you're saying we're starting. Let's go into starting. How do you start a business? So now you've heard about our business experience. So now we're going to how do you start a business, right? So okay, so let's say with us, we'll just use our business as an example, right? But let's say with us, right? The way we started was that we got the camera, right? Now, our business is in selling photographs, so in our sense, it's a service. But then besides that, now what I've realized with business is not more. It's not about the product you're selling, but about everything else. That's what makes it a business is everything else. It's not the product or the service that you're giving or selling. So,
by everything else, what you mean?
What are your operations around the thing you're selling and the strategies? So it's like, what are the things around it that make your product valuable? So it's like the product itself. Okay, so it's not the product that's valuable, right? But the things around it that make it valuable. So what I mean is that you can have two people selling the same thing, the same shoe, right?
Yeah.
But what make it valuable isn't necessarily the quality of the product, even though that does count. But it's about how is that business set up. Okay, so to consumers, right? How the business set up is then what is the client's brand? What is the client's what is their marketing? What is their marketing and what type of value do they put into their products, right? So
Yeah.
in the product, maybe it's the quality because you do have to have something that people want to buy, right? But then on the other hand, you are the one who makes people want to buy that thing based on the marketing and the advertisement that you have.
The way you do.
Yeah, so like ordinary people have something that they want. People already have things that they want to buy, as in they're already things that like some things they need more than others that they're going to buy regardless, right?
Yeah.
So there's a base like value of everything, but then after that, then there is a additional value that you yourself add as the business to the thing that you're selling. Let's take phones for example, right? You have an iPhone and then you
Android.
So then iPhone is able to charge more for their phone, right?
Yeah.
Because of the brand that they have and the message that they have. So it's the perceived value that they've given. It's the value that they've given to the product based on the marketing that they've done on the product.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what so they make their product valuable based on the work that they put in. And then based on the marketing that they do, that means then the researching strategies behind the scenes. Right. So then what makes their product more valuable than say an Android would be it's all based on how they marketed themselves. So that's what I mean when I say it's everything else that makes the product valuable over the actual product itself. So let's say you can have a good product, but if your marketing and everything else is bad, you can't have a good marketing without having everything else sorted out. Because then, let's say your sales is messed up, your operation isn't really good, and then your systems for the whole business are not good, right? Then that is going to trickle into the team that works on the marketing side because then now it's going to be fights and your culture is going to be messed up. So then that then affects the whole output of the whole business, which then makes your marketing worse. So that's what I'm. So then it's the whole operation more over the product.
Yeah, I hear you.
But then when you're starting a business, I think. But it's like I said, that's from the middle. That's from the middle part of starting. You have something, and then you're moving it.
And then you move forward.
Yeah. But if you're starting, now since we're talking about, let's talk about starting, right? Since you're starting, what you need then is to create momentum for the business, where you create traction. So when people don't know about you, it's difficult to build something
From that, yeah.
You don't have connections to talk to. You don't have. You can think about the business as yourself, Let's say you go to a new place, going to a new school, anything like that.
Yeah.
Now that means so you're creating your own contacts, people to talk to, clients and so on, creating the trust. You're creating what do people know you for, what do they perceive you, do they trust you, do they not trust you? You're creating your own image in their mind. Now initially, I think you can think of it as a conversation in some sense. Let's say when you sit down with a person, you're not gonna share everything. You're gonna be on guard. That's the same with them to your business. They're gonna be on guard. So now you still have to break down those walls. After breaking down those walls, then now people are more comfortable with you or your business. Then after that, you move on to then creating trust with them, creating connections and that whole network. Then after creating that network, now then it gets to the stage where then people are able to know if I need a photography or I need a photography, then I call these people. So I think with starting, it's that you need to move then from not knowing anyone or nobody knowing what you are selling to then becoming something we trust.
So what you're basically saying is, when you're in business, starting a business, you also need connections.
That's not what I'm saying.
Cause no, in other senses, cause let's say you have a product, right? Who are you selling it to? Let's say you don't have anyone you know, like anyone. It's only your family members and just few friends. Are you sure you're
Okay,
going to?
let me break it down like this, right? It's more like I was talking about from the consumer's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say you yourself, like you don't know anyone, right? Now it's then how do you then since we're talking about starting, how do you then move from a business that nobody knows about, right, to a business that people come to you for, where they call you for giving a specific service or specific thing that you're doing? Then that's what I mean. Then now you can think of it as a conversation. Think of it as you knowing the people where now, firstly, people are going to be on guard. They're not going to want to socialize with you because they already have their own things or whatever the reason is. They're not going to want to socialize with you. So then you have to go out or whatever your strategies are, right? And then get to the point where people then at least trust you or are willing to give you time. Then get to the point where people are then trusting and they come to you for that service you do. So it's like if you think about starting a business, think of it as about meeting someone new. So,
Yeah.
So that's how you think about it. Then I'm not being specific as in you go out because it depends on the business and what your business is about and what your So then in our case, then it meant going out to people, going out to this building portfolio, and so on.
Yeah, plus also to add on that, also business is also based on connections when you're starting. Because you don't just start as in like, you start, now you have customers. Obviously, you make contact, you advertise first to what the people around you. Because if I can check, when it comes to still Pics studios, how most of our previous incomes were because of what connections. It's the rely.
Yeah.
It is about from connections. So yeah, connections are really important when it comes to business, because from connections you end up meeting more people. Because we've been covering how many events so far. Probably in the last 4 weeks we covered. Each week we had something. We had something because of what? Connections. Yeah, then from those connections we get to know other people that will make us to know other people. So it's all about referrals as well. So when starting a business, you need to know who is around you and if they are willing to support you as well. Because it might be tricky. You might start a business, can't you know you don't have people. I think a business you need to live because there's no way. It depends on the type of business, as you were saying. But no, I'm refusing. It can't depend on the type of. I think the first 10 people are your circle, not the main circle, but your circle somehow. Those are your first clients, the people you know. if you can look into it, your circle, those are your first clients.
For the most part, yeah. But
Because if you can check, there's no, let's say I'm doing welding, right? There's no way Sebworks, you didn't know me, just saw my poster. No, a poster is something different. But maybe you just from some nowhere, you say come in to my come and weld for me something out of nowhere. Without let's say seeing your work, or okay, I actually trust this person, okay, they can do this for me. I think you really need there has to be some testimonies about your business for someone to want to work with you. Because if you can look into it, let's say your first job, you do it wrongly. Do you think that person will testify to the other person saying it was nah, so call them? No, I don't think so.
okay, here's what I think is that you don't have to. It's not necessary that your first 10 clients are people you know. It's not necessarily the case. Because what you can do is that let's take you have a website, you're creating websites, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to a place and then you're like, this business doesn't have a website. Like, I can do this website for you for free, and then if you like it, I can maintain it for you. And then that's how you create your portfolio. Even if you don't know the business, you just see that this business needs this, then this and this. So then this is how I can provide their service. And then you can take you don't know the person, but that's your client in some sense. And then you can do that for a few businesses, right? And then you have then 5 people that you know that then, so now you have a portfolio, then they can refer you to clients. That's how you can then build that network. So it's not necessary that you have to have, it's not necessary that you have, it's people you know, but then it's easier with people that you know since then. And then, but even then, it's better to start off, most people say it's better to start off with free, and then to create something that you have, and then from there move on to, then you can start figuring out how to charge, what you're charging, and all of that.
Yeah, and guys, when you say free, it depends on the business. Not every business you can just start for free. Let's say still Pics in general that we started doing. Did we start with free jobs? We started with free jobs, né? Yeah.
Valentine's Day was free.
Yeah, Valentine's Day was free, even though we didn't do much people. But yeah, starting with free jobs.
Valentine's Days actually we did quite a few.
Valentine? Really? Nah, man.
We did. Especially in management side, we did a lot.
I don't remember. That means you have been in the game for for too long. But yeah, it depends on the type of business. Not all businesses are meant for thingy to start for free, because there are certain business whereby you need to, for you to do the certain business, you need to take out, maybe you need raw materials, so you have to buy those materials and do this. Unless you're saying free labor, they buy the materials, then you do them.
Okay, but it depends on experience level as well. Say, okay, I graduate, right, and then I have electrical engineering qualification, right?
Yeah.
Now, chances are I'm gonna charge for what I do, because then my experience already shows I do electrical engineering, right?
Yeah.
So for services like that, let's say you need a qualification, or there's like a doctor will most likely charge, because then they already have the experience accumulation, and that experience is shown in their certificate. So then that's how you can see that they did the work. Just that portfolio then now is for the creative type of jobs, where you need to show what you did, how you can do. And so when it comes to charging, then it's building up the experience. And for me, the way I saw it, the reason why we gave free was that how do you put the person in frame? How do you get the person properly, and so on? That's why I did free, so that you can continue getting clients and so on.
Yeah.
But then now, I'm not so worried about the clients over how do we get the money aspect of it. So then first it was how am I able to deliver this product properly, and then after that it's now how do I make this product valuable enough to. So now then it moves then from the product to what do I say? How do I say it?
The surroundings
Yeah.
of the product. Yeah, I hear you.
To finish off, I think when it comes to starting the business, for me it was going out. I wasn't the person. Let me say I didn't have opportunities that I felt were good for me when it came to going out and starting a business. So that's why I wasn't out, even though I knew I had the business mindset. But now it still picks having to go out, having to approach people.
Yeah.
Since that's our line, it's what I've realized with it is that what you need then to. Okay, when you're starting, you don't need just to figure out. I think there are a few things that are. There's things that which are most important to start with, and then there are things that are less important, right? So, more important is what you show to people outside. So, in this case, what I mean by that is when you approach people, what do they see, right? What the words you're saying, what do they hear? How do you talk to them, and then how do you make your sales pitch in general to the person, and then they pay you. Do they pay you or do they not? So then it's how do you make your product be as valuable as you think it is? Okay, so let's say we know that our pictures are just really good, and that we know that we can take a good picture any day.
Yeah.
Now it's how do you convey that message to the client? So that's when it comes to like, what is our sales pitch? How do we improve our sales pitch? How do we improve our approach, right? And then how do we build up the money? Then from there, so to starting, then how do you build up that momentum? Now you need to make people aware of who you are, what you do, and how are you able to, and the quality of, and then delivering that quality that you afterwards. So then, at the start, what's most important is that you need to figure that out. But then, since we started with the business of like, we got a lot of people quickly. So now, then that's when the structure became important. And especially, I think, you shouldn't branch out quickly. Because I think we branched out a bit too quickly. We should have waited on the IG, we should have waited on social media a bit. And then...
No, but I think with our type of business, we really needed that. With the type of business that we are doing, we need that.
Because here's what I realized is that you can't show all your pictures to the website or to the Instagram. Let's say you have an Instagram portfolio, you have a website or whatever. You can't show all your pictures. On a website or an Instagram profile, you can't show all your pictures, right? So when I came in and like we could show all our pictures and so on, but you can't necessarily show all your pictures. Because now what you do is you show the best, because now now you're using that website and a portfolio as a marketing platform. So you're showing your best, what you can do for your clients. But then most pictures, then it's just you giving that client. Let's say someone wants event coverage, then you just treat it as a normal transaction where you do the service and you give them their pictures, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the next line, the next line, the next line. So I think what's more important that you set up that conveyor belt or whatever. You set up that system where you're able to get clients regularly, right? Then once you have that, then you can focus on. Then now you take here and there. You take that. These are the types of pictures we can do. These are the types of websites we can do, and so on. Then now you can get better. So then now you already know that you have the money coming in regularly. Then now that's when it's easier to then add the social media and the portfolio and the website. Because now I think what we have is that I think when it comes to starting, let's say it's your first venture or whatever, you become caught up in I need to set up a profile or portfolio. Instead of working behind the scenes, it's like I need to set up something that people can see. But then for the most part, most people are not gonna care what they see on the portfolio that you have. So now you're working on this portfolio, but you don't actually have any clients, or there's nothing in the background. So now you're focused on this portfolio, but it's not giving you anything. but you're putting so much effort in, which is why then I think it's better at the start, then you focus on building that network of clients that you have. Then from there, then you already have clients. That's when then now you already have referrals from people coming in. But then when people, can I see your work? Let's say I got a referral from a client. And can I see your work? That's when then you can show them through the Instagram and so on. Then that's how, then now you're growing your business more. So I think it's more important to have that network of clients first over the profile.
Yeah, I hear you. But personally, to be honest, I still disagree. Because I think a portfolio, it's important when approaching a client. Because you can approach someone, then they say, let's see your work. Or let's say what you're saying. Let's say I have a client right now. You are my client. I do the services, right? Then you want to go and refer to someone. You just show them your pictures. Let's say I do portrait shoots for you. Then I have a friend who says, then you have a friend who says, I want a event to be covered. And you only have your portrait pictures. You don't have the work that I did before, right? Maybe I did an event before, but you don't have it since we don't have a page. Then you go to that person. They say, does your person do events? Then you say yes. Let me see. I don't have. You get my way I'm going to. I don't have. I only have portraits. Then me too, I'll say, how will I hire this person? Because I don't know if they can do events. If there's not even a page where I can see, okay, they once did an event. Okay, they once did sports. Okay, I can hire them because I can see their portfolio, what they did. And unlike saying, okay, there's no portfolio, but trust my words. No, it won't sound right, man. Trust my words. Because when it comes to people taking out money, they want to see what they're paying for before they get it. So if you show them previous work, I think that's the other reason why we started by free work. So that we can have that portfolio to show people who will be willing to pay for what we did. So a portfolio is important. Now it's much easier saying, let's say I'm the one who's looking for someone. Say, let me see your work. Then you just send me your Instagram. Okay. They also do events. Oh, they also do birthdays. Okay. Now in my mind is what? I can call them for birthdays as well. Unlike saying, okay, they only do portfolios. Tick. I don't want portfolio. I just want an event. But now if they have, I can see what they've done before. I can say, okay, I can also call these people when I need this. Not just portraits, but they also give this. I don't know if you get me. So a portfolio and a page is important. And also if it's updated regularly, it's more appealing to the client, to the potential client. Imagine if I see your thing, it's saying picture was taken 2003. Then there's nothing new, just those ones from 2003. Do you think I would trust you? You're the right one. No, maybe you chop my money then you leave. Because I don't think you still do pictures. Because I don't see anything. So yeah, I think portfolio is important, and also updating your socials, saying, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this. Even if, unless you're saying the portfolio for or what the company, even if it's your personal, you can do that. But when it comes to us, the way when we started, you didn't have Instagram, and my Instagram, I didn't want it to be flooded with what to this kind of thing. That's why we ended up opening a company account for Instagram. I think portfolio is important when it comes to the work that we are doing. I think that's very important. All the works in general, I think so. Because let's say going back to welding, let me see your work. Where's your work? I don't have. At least if I show them pictures or I welded this, I'm the one who did this frame, I'm the one who did this door, this what, they will say, okay, this is nice work, let me hire you. You get it? So I think portfolio is important. And also the page is important.
Okay, what I'm saying that it's easy to get caught up into, okay, so yeah, portfolio is important, but now I'm looking at, since you're starting, right, you're probably going to be someone who wants money, like fast or soon.
Yeah.
Right? So, what I meant was that you work on getting clients, right? And then from that work that you've done, then that's how you create your portfolio, where you create here and there those really good ones, right, that stand out. That's what you can use to create your portfolio, right? But what I'm saying is, what I'm cautioning against is that do not focus so much on your portfolio that you miss what you actually need, which is the actual clients paying the money. Or how do you get the clients that get you? How do you get the clients? That's what
that get you the money. Yeah, in that aspect, I agree. Saying do not really focus on,
because what I'm questioning is that you focus on the portfolio thinking that it will give you clients, right? I'm not saying that it will, but then what I'm saying is that you're probably much better off focusing on getting the clients, seeing which clients you want to approach, seeing which clients you want to go to, and then figuring out strategies how to get into that point of access, over then creating a portfolio that this is what I do, this is what I can do, so on. Especially since you're starting out. If you're much bigger, then yeah, you can then move your time from then making your portfolio much better to then get much higher clients. But then at the start, I think it's not lose sight of that. What gets you money to continue on is that it's getting the clients.
Yeah, I agree. Saying focus on the actual clients, getting the client. Because to be honest, when you're starting a business, you never get. It's like even if you're at the mid of your business, you don't get clients from direct social media or anything. You get clients from what? Daily interactions. So yeah, the portfolio can be there, but don't focus on it. Can be there for you to just show them. Yeah, I think that's important that you say that. You can have it, but don't expect clients to come from there. Because how many years have we been on 60 followers? Guys, make sure to follow still Pics on Instagram there. And also Facebook. We open the Facebook account.
And YouTube now.
And YouTube now. Yeah. And YouTube now. So yeah. Make sure to follow those ones. Yeah.
Because like another thing. But besides starting, let's say getting the client. But it depends if you're working alone. But I think it depends if you're working alone or if you have a team, right?
Yeah.
But I think with starting a business also, it depends on the circumstances that you have. Because like another thing is that businesses take time, or like you're creating momentum. Because sometimes the person doesn't want to. It's not the right time for the person to interact with you or your business, and that time. So let's say you go to them, right? But then sometimes you speak to someone and you like let's say you start knowing someone, right? You speak to them for some time, but then after some time you want a break from them. You don't want to talk to them, or you want to do something else. Then it's like a gap where you don't speak to them. But then when you come back again, then it's like a better interaction that you would have had if you forced it. So sometimes it's also businesses take time because like some people need the time to relax or like step away from you. Then when they come back, then it's much more. Then they recharge and they're able to work with you. Now that's when. So now that's why it's important. I think that's why businesses take time, but also like building the trust. Let me just see what this business does, what they do, before I invest in them.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think that's enough for how do you set up a business, even though We never really went into it specifically. But I think the main reason is that when going about how do you set up a business, it mainly depends on the type of business that you have. But then I think in the next lesson, in the next series, right? Episode. Yeah. What we should focus on is specific, instead of just general of how do you set up a business, how do you focus on the marketing? What have you learned about marketing? How do you learn about sales? Or how do you learn about how do you approach someone? How do you learn about operation? How do you set up the business as an operation standpoint? Because I think that's also very important, because then it's to go to have a mental clarity on it. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Instead of like, now I must go back, now I must message this one, how do we do this? And then I must first decide with this person before I'm able to do something. Yes. Right? Yeah. So, things like that. I think for the next episode, what we're going to do now is then focus on specific areas on setting up a business. And then from then on, we'll see if you guys have any questions, then we can focus on a specific segment on that. So you have a specific question, then we can focus on that specific question in an episode. But on my side, I think for now, we'll see you in the next one.